new travel show with Bogart Main Radio. It's called Beyond the Itinerary, where we just explore the unseen and experience the unexpected.
We are excited about this brand new show because we are about to bring something completely different to a travel show. So today we've got two guests.
Vincent is from the Zambian Tourism Agency.
Wow.
So my job is very easy, is to take people like yourselves to Zambia.
Okay.
To see and experience it for yourselves. Our parks are open parks.
Okay.
So they are not fenced. So
With animals.
with animals.
Yeah.
Yes.
What?
Yes. That experience.
That must be amazing.
It is amazing because you walk into an area where there are elephants, there are hippos, there are buffaloes.
Okay, so I'm going to walk out of my room and I'm going to clap. And they say yes. And somebody will come to your room and escort you. Because of the wild animals and the snakes and things like that, they will escort you even at night with a flashlight to the
snakes?
restaurant. Yeah, because it's this bush, eh? This is like not play stuff.
Damn, okay.
We've got also a very unique nightlife.
Really?
Which we
Now you're talking my language.
Yes. So then, I mean, we are having a very upcoming youth population. The demographic is showing us that the middle class is getting established somehow.
Yes.
And these people want to go to high-end restaurants or high-end nightlife. Even in areas that have not been tapped, like in the mining areas, where people get all these monies, they get paid. And what do they do now?
They don't know what to do.
They don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So you want to go in there and establish yourself.
I met Sihle Dube at while I was traveling in Zambia. We traveled together.
Okay.
And as South Africans, we just both explored Zambia together.
The last trip that you
The
were
last
there?
trip that we just went
The
on.
one that I missed.
Yes, the one that you missed.
Oh.
This is the one that we were on.
Yeah.
So she brings embassies of different countries together in one expo.
What?
So they can talk Turkey.
This is a business exchange platform whereby we give access to our own locally authentic natural manufactured products to have access to export markets. By so doing, we then attract funding and investors into those manufacturing facilities, because once you get a market, you need to meet capacity, you need to have production, you need equipment. So to keep the long story short, also moreover on the tourism destination, MICE tourism, this is where countries come together to showcase their offering. Also in a MICE package, we call it meetings, incentives, conferencing and exhibitions.
In what you do, what are the opportunities for young people?
We're looking for at least 20 youth-led projects by youth organizations and also a lot of players in the tourism sector. Yes, our youth are looking at fancy careers, we understand that, but agriculture as a sector also has a lot of fancy careers like your research and development, your animal husbandry, the list goes on and on, but we are just not showcasing those careers in agriculture.
Yeah.
So we also want to put together our manufacturing sector in order, be it automotive. So we are pushing more on industrialization so that we do get our youth employed.
Hello and welcome to the a new travel show with Bogart Main Radio. It's called Beyond the Itinerary, where we just explore the unseen and experience the unexpected. And myself, Geniene Preston, with Uncle Zach.
Hello, Geniene. How are you, my friend? I hope you're doing very well.
Well, we are in the flippin' cold.
It is cold.
I mean, really, it's just beyond a joke.
But you don't look like you're cold, my friend, because you are so colorful and you're wearing a short sleeve shirt. So I don't
but
know.
remember, I wear a jersey over that.
Oh.
You see, the studio here, it's a thing about South Africans. They love overheating a place.
Okay.
It's like being in the UK.
Yeah.
When you're in the UK, you walk into a room and they've got this hot air that just blows.
Yeah.
And then you dive the heat, so you walk outside and then you like freeze. So when I was in the UK, I would walk into these buildings and they would be so hot.
Yeah.
Then I'd take off all the layers, then I walk outside and then I leave the layers off. And then all these people look at me and they go, "Aren't you cold?"
Yeah.
And I go, "No, I'm from South Africa." And they go, "Oh, that explains it." It's like being African explains everything.
There we go.
So that's what we do here. We just overheat inside and you get cold on the outside.
Absolutely.
You see. So welcome to our new show.
Welcome to our new show. Thank you for having me.
Oh, listen, being a co-host with you is just so awesome, because I think you being, as we were saying earlier, you being 47 and me being 65 means that we have different travel itineraries and different ways of looking at things.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to have that, what they call a yin and a yang,
Yes.
about how we see things.
And you are white and I'm black.
Exactly. How did you know? How did you
I
figure
don't
that out? You know, I once met a man, his name was Happy in Coma. I can't remember how I
What?
met him, but that was his name. And he said to me, you know, my friend, you white oaks, you have no idea how to drive without a helicopter telling you where all the roads have stopped. I
Yeah.
said, what do you mean? He says, 2.3 million people get out of Soweto in an hour and a half in the morning. We have no helicopter and probably most of the lights don't work.
Yeah.
But he said, you guys, you need a helicopter, you need radio, you need Waze, just to tell you when a robot doesn't work so that you can get to work within an hour.
Sure.
He said, that's the difference between us. We know how to drive. 4-way stop, go, go, go. If you can't go, make 2 of you go.
Yeah.
2 of you go, 4 of you go, you just go. But no, you guys, you have to wait. You have to say, sorry for you.
Yeah.
Do you want to go? No, I'll go first. No, you go next. And then you need a guy to actually guide you through that.
That's true.
You see.
We know organized chaos.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what makes
We-
you such a...
We function well.
under
within.
chaos. But that's Africa, huh?
Yeah. And white people are like, why is it so disorganized? Why is it
Instead
such a
of
mess?
wondering,
We're like,
just flip and drive.
yeah, get over it.
Just get over it. I mean, he was really funny. And I remember when he told me that story, I just laughed. And I always remembered that story because he just told us how different we were in our travel expectations.
Yeah.
So like he said, when black people were allowed to fly, because I didn't know they weren't allowed to fly. In my age time,
Oh.
I didn't know a lot of things that I only learned afterwards.
Okay.
And he said, you know, we weren't allowed to fly. So I said, no, seriously. He said, yeah. So I said, well, he said, we only drove.
Yeah.
So he said, now when we go fly, we just think we can arrive 5 minutes before the flight leaves
Yeah.
and get on a plane with our suitcase and off we go.
Like a taxi.
But nobody actually said you have to arrive an hour early because it's security checks and you've got to
Yeah.
bring an ID. And he said, nobody told us that.
I tell you, as black people, as one of those who during apartheid, right, we all came from mostly poverty. A lot of the things we were introduced to now in democracy, we're all new. Like for most people, when you were flying, nobody ever told you this is what you need to do. This is how you need to book a holiday. I mean, those things were all new to us.
Absolutely.
So yeah, there was a lot of conditioning we had to get used to.
And most of us who grew up in that time didn't know that because
Yeah.
for us, our world was separate to yours.
Yeah.
We didn't really have the internet and TV like we have today, where all the news, even what's happening in Israel,
Yeah,
is available to us.
true.
In those days, none of that was really available except via radio.
Yeah.
So we played outside. We didn't really listen to the radio except to Springbok Radio, which had all the plays.
Yeah.
So what did we really know?
A lot.
And it was
of
only as we
nothing.
grew up and people
Yeah.
like you opened up to us and we were able to have open conversations
Yeah.
that we learnt about how we holidayed differently.
True. Yeah. We
And-
say we're going on holiday, meanwhile we're going home.
Exactly. And you all live far away from where you work.
Yeah. And when you get home, you're not on holiday, you are cleaning, you are helping aunties manbani. There's always something. There's no holiday. You actually come back more tired from a December holiday going home than actually going on holiday.
Than going on holiday because it was all about how much you had to take home.
That's
And
true.
even guys across the border,
Yeah.
when you cross the border, a lot of the guys from here came from Zambia and Zimbabwe and Malawi and Mozambique. They had to go home and their buses sometimes took 3-4 days.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, the
Yeah.
border, if I look at the border now with the trucks, there's sometimes 4 or 5 days worth of trucks waiting to get through a
Yes.
border.
That's insane.
And I mean, and I can imagine what it must have been like with buses, and because those buses are part of what crosses the border.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
some
talking
peop-
about crossing the border, we have somebody in the studio today.
Absolutely. I'm
From
so
another side of the
excited.
border.
Yes, yes. So, Geniene, just before we introduce our guest, we are excited about this brand new show because we are about to bring something completely different to a travel show. So today we've got 2 guests, and please introduce our guest.
Well, first guest we have is Vincent MUPWAYA. Did I say that right, Vincent?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Please,
'Cause
can you
I
bring
always-
your mic a little bit
I
closer to you,
always struggle
sir?
a little bit
Thank you.
with
There we go.
with African surnames. So, and Vincent is from the Zambian Tourism Agency,
Yes.
and of course, as first secretary of tourism,
Oh,
we recently did a trip to Zambia, and it was fabulous.
Mm.
It really was, and I learned so much about, especially the Vic Falls,
Okay.
because it's like 1.7 kilometers of falls, of which 1.4 belong to Zambia.
Wow.
Am I right?
Yes, you are.
You see, and they use it for all kinds of amazing things. They use it for electricity. They use it for tourism. And it's amazing what they use their 1.4 kilometers for, even though Zimbabwe like to claim, because they say Zimbabwe is a little bit lower, when the water's not so full in the Zambezi, there's still falls in the Zimbabwe side, because Zimbabwe's a little bit lower because they're heavier.
What?
I know, the stories are funny.
Okay, interesting. Let's hear it from the man himself. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you, and thank you for hosting us here. Like rightly said by Geniene, I'm Vincent MUPWAYA.
Yes.
I represent the Zambia Tourism Agency for Zambia. I'm based at the Zambia High Commission in Pretoria.
Okay.
So I'm the tourism attaché
Yes.
for Zambia.
Wow.
So my job is very easy, is to take people like yourselves to Zambia
Okay.
to see and experience it for yourselves, all the good things that we are able to offer.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yes.
All right. Let's start with, firstly, you're looking good. Thank you so much to Bogart, man, for dressing you up in a
We
suit.
should make him do a little fashion show.
Thank you very much indeed. Yes, I also feel very honored to be dressed like this. I feel comfortable. They say dress for your future
Be careful
job.
he doesn't leave.
There we go. And also, I mean, this must be the first interview you do where they say, come on and put on something from us.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, and it's a good experience.
Thank you very much. All right, let's go back from the beginning. Tell us a little bit about Vincent. You were born and bred in your country?
Yes, I was born and bred in Zambia and went to school in Zambia. Did my primary high school in Zambia and part of tertiary in Zambia, and then I did my postgraduate in the United Kingdom. And and I've worked around the region. I first started in the tourism sector, having been working in the retail of the travel agents. The government then had a company which was responsible for travel for government and parastatals. I worked there briefly, and before I could branch off into the airline. I've been in the airline space from then, and then now the mainstream tourism, and now I'm in charge of the country in South Africa, which is quite a privilege, because I look after South Africa, which is one of the biggest source markets for our tourists within the region, and I look after Lesotho and Madagascar as well.
Wow, that's incredible. So you don't work, you like enjoy what you do.
Yes.
Some people work, you don't.
My daughter says, what a good job. You are paid to enjoy.
Oh,
I said, you can say that again.
Yeah.
We go into these resorts and see things. What others pay for, I go for work. I go there for work.
That's incredible.
And I must say, Zambia is... You know what I most enjoyed about Zambia was I've been to many African countries, of which most of them struggle with regional airports. So once you've flown into the main center, it takes a long drive to get to activities such as seeing animals or waterfalls or doing game drives, national parks, things like that. With Zambia, it was awesome because they have so many regional airports that have actually been there since the 70s. Like the one airport we went to, Mafui, that's been around since the 70s. So you're able to fly to Lusaka, and then there's also obviously resorts that are reachable by road from Lusaka within an hour or two. But then if you want to go to Lower Luangwa and places like that, you can just fly because there's a regional, and it's an hour's flight with ProFlight. You literally get there. And I remember when we were in Mafui and we were flying back to Lusaka, there was a tiny little aircraft that arrived. And I just looked at, and I'm terrified of flying. And I looked at this tiny little aircraft and I thought, please, Lord, let that not be ours.
Yeah.
Let that just not be the one flying us back to Lusaka. And thank heavens it wasn't.
Okay.
We were just on a normal aeroplane, which
Yeah.
was great.
Yeah.
So I was very happy about that. But when I saw that little aeroplane and I looked at our group and I thought, please let that not be our aeroplane. But luckily it wasn't. So from a perspective of the second advantage of and I'll let Vincent tell us a little bit more, But their ability to see animals was on a savanna, whereas in South Africa and other countries, it's very much a bush area. So when you're trying to see a lion or you're trying to see something, you have to kind of peer through the bush. But the places that we went to had savannas where the animals were all kind of gathered in a family format.
Oh, wow.
So we watched wild pig and we watched the springbok and we watched 2 rhinos at night. Sorry, not rhinos, hippos. The hippos were almost touching. You could kind of almost touch them. They were so close.
Wow.
So you could see everything nicely and simply. And at our lodge, Kafunta Lodge, they had the lights that were shining on the savannah. So you could actually sit and have dinner and watch these animals come to you almost.
Wow.
We don't have that in South Africa. And even in a lot of our lodges, it's mainly covered by bush. So somebody will say, oh, look, there's a springbok. And you go, where?
Yeah, can't see it.
Borrow the binoculars and separate the bush. And
Yeah.
you try and figure out, okay, so how am I going to see this animal?
Yeah.
In Zambia, they're easy to see because of the amount of savannas that they have, which is plain. Am I right?
Yes, yes, you are.
Vincent?
Yes, yeah.
So from that perspective, just amazing that Zambia's got the Vic Falls in Livingstone. They've got all these gorgeous lodges with such openness to see. In fact, one of the things that we saw in our safari, the safari vehicle had to cross a river. And I don't remember the name of the river. Was it the Zambezi up that
Luangwa.
way? Was it the Luangwa?
Luangwa River.
Were you guys together when you were doing the...
No, he was in a separate group and I was in a separate group. But he
Oh.
just knows how much I just love. So
Yes.
we got together to share our love of Zambia.
Yes. Just to add on what Geniene has said, we've got the game parks.
Okay.
Yeah, and these game parks have got a high density of animals. So we decide, or you can decide, where you'd like to go to.
Okay.
Some of them, like the Lower Zambezi and the Luangwa, where they had gone, the South Luangwa, has got a high density of animals, and you see all these animals that you want
And
to
there's
see.
20 of those national parks, eh?
Yes, there
Yeah.
are 20, and with so many
Yeah.
game management area. So now our parks are open parks.
Okay.
So they are not fenced. So
With animals.
with animals.
Yeah.
Yes.
What?
Yes. Our parks are open parks, and this is one of the high selling point.
But how far are the people staying close to those parks?
We live with them. So
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
We live with the animals. We have gone to intrude into the animal territory, and this is why it is important, because the areas, like she has rightfully said, we also use. We've got one of the uniquest offering, which is called the walking safari. So you can go on a walking safari to see the animals in their wilderness.
What?
Yes.
Okay, obviously you got to go with somebody.
Yeah, somebody goes with you.
Yes,
obviously,
yes, somebody goes
You
with
can't
you.
go on your
Okay.
own.
Yeah, but you are also given
A rifle.
safe talk to say this is what you do, this is how
Oh.
you. But you can walk, and that experience
That must be amazing.
It is amazing because you walk into an area where there are elephants, there are hippos, there are buffaloes, and gazebos, and everything, wild pig and warthogs, and so on.
Yes.
So it's just that itinerary experience.
I can already
And
see
it's
it.
really funny.
Of you walking in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
And when you
Wow.
arrive at the lodge, they do give you a safety
So-
briefing as
yeah,
well.
Yes. So with the savannah, it's very easy to do that because you are
Oh.
able to see, I think, 100 meters away from.
Oh.
It's not like you're ambushing the animals.
Wait. When you say a savanna, what exactly are you
flat.
saying?
Well,
So it's flat
with the
with small trees.
with tall trees,
Oh.
and it gives a lot of grazing underneath. So you are
Okay.
able to see through.
Yeah.
What,
And some of them are marshy
some of them
wetlands.
marsh wetlands.
Yeah.
So the animals, when they are hunting, or they are going for watering, or to the watering holes, you are able to see them.
Oh.
And then you'll be walking
Yeah.
towards that.
Okay, so just for anybody that hasn't been to Zambia, I mean, if they want to travel there, I mean, apart from the nature reserve, the lodges, what else can people
But
do?
I have to tell you something before
Okay.
you carry on with that. I have
Okay.
to share it with Vincent as well. At our lodge, it was when we arrived, they gave us our safety briefing and they said, you must clap if you want to go somewhere. So when you leave your room,
Clap.
you clap like this.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, so I'm going to walk out of my room and I'm going to clap. And they say yes, and somebody will come to your room and escort you. Because of the wild animals and the snakes and things like that, they will escort you even at night with a flashlight to the
snakes?
restaurant. Yeah, because it's this bush, eh? This is like not play stuff.
Damn, okay.
So I walk out of my room and I clap and I say, oh yeah, they're going to come to me. And sure enough, some dude just pops out of nowhere and says, here I am. And I go, how did you hear me?
Yeah.
And he says, because they're trained to hear they obviously have different ranges in different areas. So we had 14 chalets.
Okay.
And there's guys kind of close to each group of chalets. So they're trained to listen for you.
Okay.
That when you clap, so you don't have to keep trying to phone because there's so little signal out that way as well.
Oh.
So instead of that, they've got the system of clapping.
Oh, wow.
And then when you clap, here they arrive and they go, I'll escort you. And I was like, this is so cool.
So different.
And that's the way of not intruding on the animals either, where there's no intrusive, for the animals, there's no intrusion on them.
Absolutely. So yeah, as I was asking you, Vincent, so for anybody that hasn't been to Zambia, I mean, apart from the wildlife and of course the lodges, what else can people do?
Plenty of things to do really on the menu. We've got some of the best museums that will showcase the history of the country and the liberation that Zambia participated in the region, including South Africa. You also see the ANC headquarters, where President Oliver Tambo of the ANC lived for 27 years.
Wow, it's still
it is still there,
good condition,
very
taken
good
care
condition. Yes,
it's a museum.
It's a monument.
Okay,
so it's been well gazetted, and a lot of South Africans take interest when they come to Zambia to view it because it has got all the literature there, and you get to appreciate the journey that Zambia participated in the democracy of this great republic.
Absolutely.
And
we appreciate you.
Yes, thank you very much. We appreciate you too. And then I was just telling Geniene that South Africa is one of the biggest source markets for our tourists that come to Zambia. They are either flying into here from the rest of the world, and then we tap them from here on an extended itinerary, or they come via South Africa direct into the region, the SADC region, and we are part of that circuit of the SADC region, including Namibia, Botswana, South Africa, and Zimbabwe. Do you
find a lot of South Africans also traveling to your country, Zambia?
Yes, a lot actually. They are in many segments. Some are into business. Most of the business outlets have extended into Zambia. You find all your big shops and your chain shops in Zambia. They are into the mining space. South Africa has got a history of mining for many years. So we are also into mining. So you have the experts from South Africa who are operating in Zambia. And also into the hospitality. Most of the hotels you see here, the chain hotels, the Radsons, the Proteas, and the Southern Sun are also in Zambia. Wow. So they have also invested heavily into the hospitality space. And then what else do you see? We've got also a very unique nightlife.
Really?
Which we...
Now you're talking my language.
Yes. So the nightlife, and actually for you should be coming there so that you can also probably position yourself, because the nightlife is just getting bigger and better.
Really?
And would like more investment in that space.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because...
So what, like clubs?
Clubs.
Okay.
Very high clubs, high-end clubs.
Are needed.
Yes. We have them and we still need more. Because we are having a very upcoming youth population. The demographic is showing us that the middle class is getting established somehow.
Yes.
And these people want to go to high-end restaurants or high-end nightlife and so on and so forth. And even in areas that have not been tapped, like in the mining areas, where people get all these monies, they get paid, and what do they do now?
They don't know what to do.
They don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So you want to go in there and establish yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just very safe.
Very safe.
You know, you'd be amazed. Everybody north of South Africa, most of the countries are safe. and Zambia is one of them. We safely walked around without ever worrying about, except when we had to cross a 7-lane highway.
Okay.
That was a bit of a challenge for us.
7-lane highway.
There's a road behind our hotel that goes to the conference center. But before we saw Vincent, and he told us, actually, there's a bus that takes you around. We thought we had to walk there. So there we were dodging cars across the 7-lane
You
highway.
crossed it.
We had no choice. Well, we didn't think we had a choice at that time, but it was quite fun.
Well, it's only that they didn't know that there was an underbridge
Yes.
just next
You
to
see,
them.
we didn't know
But
that.
that's part of experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, but did you come with us to the nightclub on that?
No, I didn't
Friday
go
night?
with, because you were going to go off with
Okay.
all the
I think Sihle
young
and them
king.
came.
Yeah.
We had a fantastic, because we were hosting a number of African countries, that's South Africa, Angola, Zimbabwe, Malawi, Botswana, and literally from the SADC and the up north, Kenya and Tanzania. So we went to the nightclub, and every country was shouting for their own music. But surprising,
Wow.
most of the music that was played to neutralize everybody was South African.
No way.
And Amapiano, all the good music
What?
everybody was just saying, now we have found the middle ground.
No
Let's
way.
just go South
and
Africa.
the ministers
What?
of
And the
tourism.
ministers of tourism of Zambia and
Yeah, they
Angola,
were there as well,
they were
dancing
on
with
the
us.
floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
They were
so
awesome,
fantastic.
yeah.
And the DJ couldn't just let us off.
It was
the
just
floor.
amazing
It
to
was
see them
amazing,
dancing with
yeah.
us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amapiano.
Yes. yes.
Brought everyone together. That's interesting. Because we always spoken about how Amapiano as a genre of music has actually created more black millionaires than any other industry
I'm completely
in
lost
South
here.
Africa. Yeah.
What is Amapiano?
Amapiano is a
This white
dance.
chick has no idea.
Do you know Kwaito music?
I try not to.
Okay, it's township music. It's township music that sort of young people have taken and just took it to the world. It's
Okay.
actually one of our biggest exports.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It-
wow.
It's
Yes.
our biggest like
I'm afraid
young-
I'm the Engelbert Humperdinck genre.
Okay, that's fine.
You don't say, he says,
We accept
okay.
you. Wow, man. So Amapiano, actually what it did was that for young black people, this was the biggest thing they
Wow.
could ever create.
Yeah.
And it made more millionaires
Yeah.
for young black people than any other industry.
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah. So it's incredible to hear that
Yeah.
dignified people like
Yeah.
yourself still dance to Amapiano music.
Of
That's
course.
beautiful.
Of
Yeah.
course,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so we've spoken about the leisure side of that can be done. So let's talk about what is the population size looking like? What is the economy looking like? When I think of African countries, people always think, is the economy, is it stable, is it safe? I mean, we've
I think
spoken
from
about the
from a
safety side.
tourism point of view, and I'm saying because I'm a tourist,
Yeah.
I found that they were very similar to South Africa. I was able to, they didn't overcharge me in dollars. In dollars, if I equated it to rand, it's what I would pay here.
What's the currency though?
The currency is
Zambia
kwacha. Yeah,
Kwacha.
the Zambian kwacha.
Oh, okay.
So very similar, very easy to, their hotels are very similar to ours in cost.
Yeah.
And when I looked at putting a group, I'm sending a group currently to Zambia now, a couple, and they're going to Zambia, and I looked at the costing, and the costing is the same as I would use if I sent them to another country, but much more reasonable in that when they get there, their spend is what they can afford out of their pocket. So it's very affordable for South Africans, very affordable to book a tour to go. From a travel and tourism perspective, which is where Vincent fits in, and where we kind of fitted into that space when my recent visit
Yeah.
was just amazing. And a lot of South Africans working there.
Oh.
So whenever you meet somebody, they'll say, I'm from South Africa. When did you arrive here? 14 years ago, and I haven't left yet.
Wow.
So it just shows that guys come up there and they don't go home, because this is home now. There's a couple of lodges there that are built by South Africans as well. The Susi and Chuma was built by two South Africans on the bend of the Zambezi.
Oh, wow.
And they were the two people that took David Livingstone's body back to the sea to be able to be shipped home. I mean, it took 9 months, I think, for his body to go back to England, to be buried in England.
Really?
But he died in, is it
In Chitambo.
Chitambo?
It's a region up north of our country. Yes. Talking about that, the population is plus 20 million.
Okay.
Yes, and the economy is very stable. we have not had any major issue to worry about. And in fact, for tourism purposes, it has been favoring the tourism arrivals into the country.
Yeah.
And you may wish to know that just the year that has closed last year, we were all about 2.3 million arrivals, international arrivals.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And a brand new airport.
Yes.
I mean, it wasn't built that long ago, so new international airport.
Airports, including the one up north in Ndola, Simon Mansaka-Kwep, and the one in Livingstone, equally new. Okay. So the infrastructure the government has put in terms of supporting the tourism has been well received, and the investment we keep on receiving is showing dividends. So everything it's like Geniene said, it's mirrors South Africa.
Yeah. So
But safe.
Yeah, but safe. So, I mean, because what we're trying to do with the show that we want to do, we want to showcase how beautiful Africa is. I mean, Janine's told me so many tales that are very interesting, and we want to make sure that at least South Africans, we allay all those fears that everybody has about traveling abroad and all of that.
And let me tell you, when you land in Zambia, even their customs guys smile. And that's not usual.
Yeah.
But when we arrived, these customs guys just smiled. And when he looked at my passport and he was like, I'm giving you 90 days. I said, we'll give my husband 9 days so that he can leave before me.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's incredible.
But just happy to see me and just said, listen, I'm giving you 3 months because I hope you're going to stay that long. And just happy to see a tourist. And that's, as I say, it's not normal that customs guys are happy to see you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So well done to you.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Vincent, we've got about 3 minutes to go. We'd like to give you this moment maybe to just sell your country. Tell us, I mean, I know we've been chatting about it, but if you had to do a sales pitch to anybody that's listening and watching, how would you sell it?
I would start by saying, wherever you are coming from, please put Zambia on your bucket list. Zambia is big, it's 750,000 square kilometers. It doesn't matter which part of Zambia you wish to visit, but you are certainly going to see Zambians that will welcome you. They will welcome you with a smile, a genuine one for that matter, and they would be willing to extend hospitality to you. Our cultural belief is that every visitor needs to be shown love, and they must be taken care of. Our food is the best experience you can ever have, the cuisines. We strive by all means to make sure that the 72 plus ethnic group that live in Zambia meet each other on the cuisine side, the food that we offer and the experience. We've got traditional ceremonies and cultures that we celebrate because of our diversity. Part of the country population came from down south, from the Zulu kingdom. Part of them came from Lesotho. Part of them came from Cameroon. Part from the northern South Sudan, and so on. So we all converge in a land called Zambia many, many years ago.
Wow.
But we bring together a culture that will always leave a footprint on your heart. So visit Zambia, even if you come to Livingstone. The Zambezi, Victoria Falls on the Zambezi River has got a lot to offer. If you are a youthful person, you want adrenaline part of adventure, you can do a lot there. If you are a retiree, you want to enjoy your pension money, we've got also the high end. We've got the train, dinner on the train, you've got the 5-star hotels on the banks of the Zambezi River. You can do the bungee jump, you can do the cruise on the Zambezi, you can walk with the lions, the cats, the cheetahs, you can do wonderful things for yourselves. If you plan to come for 3 days, I would ask you to put extra 3 days so you can have a good experience of what we are able to offer as a country.
Wow.
Thank you.
That was the best sales pitch I've ever heard about a country.
And I can tell
Thank
you,
you
there's
very
a
much
lot
for
of
that.
different flights that fly there as well. SAF Air flies, ProFlight flies, Zambia Airways flies, SAA flies there, and so does Airlink.
Yeah.
So you have a range of airlines to choose from. We went with Zambia Airways and ProFlight.
Oh.
Both really good. I must tell you, the Zambian Airlines one had propellers.
What?
A bit scary
Part
first.
of the experience. It shows you that from OR Tambo to Lusaka is 1 hour 45 minutes. So it's actually closer to OR Tambo than Cape Town,
Cape Town.
is
Yes.
to OR Tambo.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
So rather go to Zambia.
That's beautiful. You said how many tribes, or did you say ethnic
groups 72.
72.
Yes.
Yeah, and we thought we were bad with 11.
I know, right? Okay, all of them different languages.
Different languages.
My God.
Mm.
Okay, how many official languages are in?
Okay, so it was made that each province produces one official language.
Okay.
So we call them official languages for the communication purposes and for school.
Okay.
So our children have to learn one or so languages and before they learn the English. So it's one of the things that we take pride in, because the province where you are, you learn the language in that province.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Okay, how many provinces are there?
There are 10 provinces.
What?
So same as us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
10
So
official languages in
basically,
English.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's
So not too
incredible.
bad. Yeah.
So how many of those languages can you speak?
I can speak half of them. Yeah,
Really?
almost, yeah. All of the 10 languages, of the 8 languages that are on radio and official, I can speak half of them, including English. Yeah.
Oh, my word.
Sheesh. Are they completely different from each
They
other?
are different. Some are similar, some are extremely different from each other.
And then, as you said, there's a bit of an Ndebele influence in others, or like,
yes,
okay,
yes.
because they come
Swahili
from those
and
countries.
all of those,
Yes,
yeah.
because they come from different
Parts of Africa.
So they could have created new languages also.
Yes, along the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, sir, thank you very much. I mean, this has been eye-opening for me. As you were speaking, actually, I'm picturing it. Like, I picture all these walk with the lions and the cheetahs. I mean, that's my kind of thing.
Well, just have to clap.
So thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you. We're going to take a break. And then we definitely look forward to coming through to Zambia. And see
But
how
before
it
we
looks
go,
like.
how do they
Okay.
find Zambia?
Oh, yes.
Well, through most travel agents here in South Africa have got Zambia. Zambia is also on the
On the internet?
On the internet, you just say Zambia, and it will show you Zambia Tourism Agency, and will be able to direct you. At the mission in Pretoria, we have a desk, which is information desk. We give you all the information about Zambia. Last year, we had 3 ladies come through. We gave them the information. They went out. Before we knew it, there were 30 of them, and they sent me pictures from the Devil's Swimming Pool on the Zambezi, on the Victoria Falls.
The Devil's Swimming Pool.
Yeah, it's
It's-
talk about
it's,
that, yeah.
So we've got 2 swimming pools right on the Zambezi.
On the falls.
On the falls.
Ha.
One of them is the Angel's Pool, and one of them is the Devil's Pool. I will show you after this
Okay.
what my experience on the Angel's Swimming Pool. You can't believe. And these ladies
can't.
sent it to me in real time. Said, look, Vincent, thank you very much for the information given to us
Yeah.
through the mission, and we're here having fun.
In the Devil's Pool.
Yes.
How do you guys come up with such names? Wow, incredible. Okay, well, I can't wait to see that after our conversations right here. Mr. Vincent, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you. This has been so fun chatting to you. And thank you so much for joining us. Is that cool, Geniene?
I think that's absolutely cool.
All
And I think you need to visit now.
Okay.
But we'll go together because I'll show you what I learned.
Okay, cool.
Okay. But
All
we'll
right.
do a different part of Zambia because there's so much to do. We only managed to see a very small part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're looking forward to engaging with you even further and coming to visit your country. We appreciate you for your time.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. All right, we're going to take a quick break. And if you are listening to us through our Bogart Man app, and thank you so much for doing so. And of course, if you're in one of our stores, we really do appreciate you for shopping with Bogart Man. So we're going to take a quick break. Let's do this.
Beyond the Itinerary.
Yes.
With Bogart Man Radio.
Absolutely.
And of course, you're going to just explore the unseen and experience the unexpected. Such a nice tagline.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, well
you came
thought
up
out.
with it.
Did I?
No,
Didn't
I
even
don't know.
that.
I think it was me.
I think it was you, actually.
Yes.
Actually, I think it's always a good thing.
Yeah.
And it's always nice to talk to people about their countries, and that's what I loved most about talking to Vincent. Was when I first met him, we just chatted so much about what we could see and what we could do in Zambia. And because I'd travelled to Zambia before, it was really nice to chat to him about travelling through Zambia, and especially following the route of David Livingstone, because David Livingstone was one of the world's most famous explorers. I mean, he went back to Zambia like 9 times, and he was funded by the missionary. First went as a missionary, and then he came back because then he wanted to explore himself, and eventually he died of an illness. And having read his story, I'm not 100% certain what he died of. But he eventually just came back to Zambia and died there. And he's the one who named the Vic Falls, the smoke that thunders. They call it Mosia Tunda, I think. And he named it Victoria Falls after the Queen at the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, she was known as the one queen who refused to give up her reign. That's just a bit of general knowledge.
Okay.
When somebody doesn't want to give up their reign and they are known as a terrible ruler, it's called the Victoria Syndrome. And it's named after her because she refused to give up the reign. After, I think she reigned for something like, I don't know how many years, but she refused to give up her reign. So that was an interesting one, yeah.
Very.
But following the route of David Livingstone is really an interesting one, because if anybody does a tour, they should follow David Livingstone, because he sees the best and you do the most of Zambia using his route. And he had 2 guys who was called Susi and Chuma, and they were his helpers through the times that he was in Zambia, and they basically followed him around. And we were in Zambia a few years ago, and there was a blonde-haired girl. I just remember her being blonde. And when we were at the Susi and Chuma Lodge, they told us the story of how that all came about, how they carried him to the seaport so that he could catch the ship. His body could go on the ship to go back to be buried in state in England. And we got to Livingstone, and we were at the Royal Livingstone, and she turned around to one of the girls and she said, "Do you know the story of Susi and Chuma?" And the girl said, "No, I don't." She said, "Well, they were the 2 guys who carried David Livingstone to the airport so he could fly home." And I looked at her and I said to her, "I think you got that a bit wrong, because there were no airports at that time." So she goes, "Oh yeah, how did they get back again?" I said, No, they were carried to a seaport and then he was shipped home.
Okay.
She's like, okay. So that's how I remember that story.
Okay, cool.
But talking of that story, I met Sihle Dube while I was traveling in Zambia. We traveled together.
Okay.
And as South Africans, we just both explored Zambia together.
The last trip that you
The last trip that we just went on.
The one that I missed.
Yes, the one that you missed. This is the one that we were on. And we were on it together. We did different parts of Zambia, but we traveled some of it together. Like we did Livingstone together, and we did Lusaka together. But we did separate safari parks. And she was just amazing, because we have this great photo of the two of us as we took this photo, just both being South Africans and being so happy to be in Zambia. We met, I think, the first day, and she's from a company called Highway 24, and she specializes in the embassy fair. It's embassy fair, hey?
Embassy business fair.
Embassy business fair.
Yeah. Please bring your mic a little bit closer to you. You can just push it closer to you.
There you
We
go.
go.
And that's what she specializes. So she brings embassies of different countries together in one expo.
What?
So they can talk Turkey.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Now, welcome to the show. How are you doing, my sister?
Thank you so much, my dear brother. I'm doing so well, and thank you for the opportunity to share with the viewers such an impactful platform that we have.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I always like to start from the beginning.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about you, how you got into the game, and all of that.
Well, long story short,
Yeah.
as Jean has already mentioned, I'm Sihle Dube.
Okay.
Yes, how I got into the game. All right, I'll keep it very short. You know?
Okay.
Try my best.
Yeah.
Back in the years, after corporate and all that corporate wear and boardrooms, then decided to explore the exhibitions industry.
Oh.
Yeah, and this is where I came about to now be on the ground in terms of platforms where people meet, connect. They have that experience of networking and tangible deals and massive opportunities come out of there. So eventually, after having done with lifestyle events, B2B platforms being organized by other event organizers, I then decided, let me join tourism events, which is Africa Travel Indaba and Meetings Africa projects.
Wow.
Yes.
Completely different field.
Completely different field. And reason being that I've always had an interest in exploring tourism at the MICE level. You know, when we talk MICE, we talk meetings, incentives, conferencing, and exhibitions. After having done with that as well as a direct employee and a GM at the time for the event organizer, I then said one day and I said, look, Sihle, you've been doing this thing, be brave enough.
Yeah.
Then this is where the brand came about. For the embassy's business fair and conference, and I said, look, there is an opportunity there with the embassies.
So you established it?
Yes.
Wow.
The first one was last year.
Wow.
In November, the first edition. And this is where I started approaching the embassies and then came into contact with Mr. Vincent.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the reason why me and Jen met. It was because of Mr. Vincent
Oh, wow.
to Zambia and via
Yeah.
the embassy's brand that was established last year. The first event, which was launched last year, and Mr. Vincent happened to be part of it and very impactful in terms of sharing Zambia, what they do in terms of business exchange platform, import, export, and also cooperatives, women cooperatives that are led in the agriculture sector, and also various elements in the tourism field, and in terms of exploring Zambia. And me being in my tourism, like I've indicated that I've worked on the projects, Africa Travel Indaba and Meetings Africa. This is where we then found ourselves in Zambia with Jean and myself being there for the first time.
Wow.
Impactfully.
Yeah. Wow, that's incredible. All right, so so how do you put this whole thing together? I mean, there are so many embassies. Have you approached all the embassies? Or as many as you can?
Thank you so much. That's a very good question, I must say. As you've indicated, we've got close to over 200 embassies. South Africa is the second biggest, largest country that's holding embassies after Washington, D.C.
Wait a minute. Say that again. South Africa is the second largest country.
We have the most embassies in the world,
After
number
Washington,
2, after
yeah.
Washington.
Yeah, number
After
2.
the US.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What?
Yes. So you could understand that the pool is wide and big in
Yeah, of
South
course.
Africa.
Yeah.
And also to answer your question, these embassies, it's basically one-on-one.
Okay.
And imagine by the time I get to the number 120, would be reaching them via these platforms like Pocket Radio that you've provided, and what Jean is doing with the new talk show.
Yes.
So I have tried to cover majority of them.
Okay.
So we are aiming to have at least 50 plus embassies this year. The first edition was 30 plus,
Okay.
of which also we're looking at international organizations. We're looking at Chamber of Commerces. And also we're looking at our own local government coming in to partner with the private sector that says this is a business exchange platform.
Yes.
Whereby we give access to our own locally authentic natural manufactured products to have access to export markets. By so doing, we then attract funding and investors into those manufacturing facilities, because once you get a market, you need to meet capacity, you need to have production, you need equipment. So to keep the long story short, also moreover on the tourism destination, MICE tourism, this is where countries come together to showcase their offering. Also in a MICE package, we call it meetings, incentive, conferencing and exhibitions.
MICE.
Yes.
Okay.
MICE, that's the short name of it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's an abbreviation. Tourism loves abbreviations. Trust me on this one.
Yeah. They like politicians.
Oh, flippin' hell. Actually, you look at this abbreviation and you think to yourself, and that stands for what? So yeah, they love the abbreviations.
Okay. So the first one was last year, the first gathering that you've put together. So are you working on a 2025 one?
Certainly, yes, we are. As we start in the media campaigns now, this month. So the dates are 8 and 9 September 2025.
Where?
Going to a bigger and better venue.
The
CSIR International Convention Center. Due to capacity, we had to consider the convention center.
Which one? The one
Pretoria, CSIR.
Oh, okay.
Yes, in Pretoria, the International Convention Center. There's an exhibition wall, conference facility, also with breakaway facilities, because we're considering really unpacking the opportunities with the embassies, that is the trade and investment attaches, the tourism secretariats, as you've seen with Zambia, that we are already on the ground. We are advocating for the MICE package for Zambia in the conferencing and exhibitions field, that travel. Make sure that you also book for the exhibitions, and we will look after your flights and your accommodation, and also we'll look after your pre-tours before the event and during and post, because you still need to have a bit of work and play.
Yes.
And then also we
it's a lot of work. Sounds like a lot of work.
But it's always a good opportunity to show off the country. Yeah. Because when people come from overseas, they don't just want to do the event, they also want to have a little bit of a look around. And this is a great opportunity, because they're already here, is to be able to showcase some of what we have to offer.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm curious about some of these embassies. Obviously, in the ones that you've dealt with, have you dealt with mostly African countries whose embassies are based here, or are they mixed that you've already gone through?
So it's a mix. It's a global market access platform. Yes, we are advocating for Africa, as you know, that Africa, we put in our house in order.
Yeah.
But it is a mix, because when we talk international, we talk global market access, we talk access into those distribution networks. And these networks sit with the embassies, like we said. The embassies have got a trade and investment session. That trade element, this is where we say, let's have that export opportunity. They also have import opportunities into South Africa. Let's have the investment opportunities into the projects that we are running in South Africa as well, because there's a lot happening on the ground. As for this year, we've got the G20 presidency.
Yes.
And we've got a mandate, the G20 mandate. So this becomes an embassy's business fair and conference G20 mandate on the trade and investment platform.
Wow.
And I'm part of the working group for the B20, which is the business leaders BUSA.
Oh, yes.
Where we
have you ever had a look at the global goals?
No, the last time I looked at...
The G20 stands for all the global goals that we try as a planet to follow.
The last time I looked at global goals was the millennial development goals that were not even reached at all.
Oh my word.
Including the...
But I think the whole idea behind those global goals is to choose a couple that you can strive to do.
But they have a long list.
There's 20.
Then they don't even do...
No, there's 20. So if you take...
a lot.
No, but that's what I'm saying. If you look at 20, choose two that you as a business or you as a tourism operator or somebody can aspire to do in your 5 kilometers. Always look at your area. So say, in my 5 kilometers, I can make a difference, because that's what I do in my 5 kilometers. I say, how can I make a difference? Because I can't make a difference to the whole world. It's just overwhelming. But if I can make a difference just in my 5 kilometers, and I can say, I'm going to hire our gardener from this 5 kilometers, I'm going to look after our housekeeper who comes from my 5 kilometers. I'm already doing something towards alleviating the employment issue. So I've managed to sustain that within I buy fruit and vegetables from somebody within my 5 kilometers. Now just think about it. If everybody just looked at their 5 kilometers, imagine how much difference we could make to the world. But everybody looks at it and says, oh, I can't do that. I need to save the world. It's not about that. The global goals are about what can you do in your community or in your area. That's how it works.
Absolutely. So, my sister, now let's talk about young people and the opportunities that come in, especially in the world of exhibitions, in the world of tourism, in what you do. We know that South Africa's unemployment is very high. In what you do, what are the opportunities for young people?
A very interesting and sensitive subject.
Yes.
And I've made sure that it's taken into consideration. We're looking for at least 20 youth-led projects by youth organizations and also a lot of players in the tourism sector. Remember, the event is multi-sectoral. We're also looking at agriculture, as Jean mentioned, that the little vegetables that you put together and sell, there is so much emphasis on agriculture tech across globally, as being one of the G20 mandates as well, also to incorporate the youth and the women. Yes, our youth are looking at fancy careers, we understand that, but agriculture as a sector also has a lot of fancy careers like your research and development, your animal husbandry, the list goes on and on, but we are just not showcasing those careers in agriculture. All they know is that you must go there and be in the mud and have patience and then have climate change issues. So there is a lot that can be done in that sector. And then we go and look at automotive on its own, vehicle assembling. And we look at the impact of the new vehicle that there's a young gentleman. If you do Google the young gentleman, where was introduced by our president during COVID, 2022. I think we were just post-COVID. If you Google that, YouTube, he's come up with the South African vehicle, simply because we are more reliant, obviously, on certain countries, maybe German Max and other models.
And now China is taking over.
Yeah. So we also want to put together our manufacturing sector in order, be it automotive. So we are pushing more on industrialization so that we do get our youth employed. But how do we achieve that? By having such platforms that open up for trade and investment. Hence, I've put all the embassies under one roof so that us as South Africa, we are able to open up for them as well, to collaborate with the private sector businesses that are on the ground, which are the implementers.
Because, you know, the interestingly, and I want to know how this is going to reach as many people on the ground as possible. Because all these, if you're talking G20, most people, G20 just sounds far-fetched. It's just above them. They don't know what is going to be discussed. They don't even know many people that actually our sitting president is the chair of the G20. So with what you are trying to do, how will it get down to the townships, to the rural areas, to the people on the ground?
Very interesting and quite on point. First edition, we had the president of the township business community. Yeah, Mr. Begitwala. So he drove that from the township angle.
I thought you were talking about some guy from Pretoria, Presidente Yastrata. What's his name again? The guy who has gold teeth. He's a Mapiano head. He also calls himself a president.
No. This one we're talking about an authentic, on the ground, well refined and seasoned gentleman that came up with the concept while I was still at school.
Really?
Yes, and he's been pioneering this concept. He's even made sure that there's in the G20, which is your think tank G20 part, he also has embodied himself into T20 as Township 20, and they're launching nationally the township mandate. And in terms of, remember G20, like you said, it looks after advocating the policies, regulation, ensuring that the youth and women are inclusive into the SMME framework, and they do get that necessary support globally. Remember, we also have foreign direct investment that is not reaching the ordinary person in the township, in the rural areas. Like for now, we had this disaster in the Eastern Cape.
So true.
So those are the types of collaborations we need with the NGOs and international organizations and embassies to say, we have a disaster. I know UAE was involved, embassy, in terms of making sure that people get the necessary needs and requirements. So these are the type of partnerships we need, and also skills centers and more job creation and entrepreneurship. Absolutely.
This is beautiful. Yeah. All right, you've got about 2 minutes to sell us and tell us about this conference that's coming up, and those who are listening right now and are interested for opportunities, let's sell it to them.
Thank you so much. As I've indicated, it's a business exchange platform that allows you to showcase your locally manufactured authentic products to a global network that comes with a well-connected and well-aligned network of distributors. And as I've said, it's a business exchange, meaning that the embassies themselves can advocate also to import, can advocate for trade and investment opportunities within the South Africa business leaders that are invited. And the platforms are open right now as we speak. The website is embassiesbfc.com. There is a registration platform. You can register as a buyer. As a buyer, you come through to have a look at what's on offering. And you also come through to advocate for markets for those products on offering. And at the same time, we've got breakaway facilities during the conference where multiple sectors are discussed, like I've indicated, that automotive, tourism, agriculture, SMME, and MSME, which is medium micro.
Okay.
So there's a term now, because from small you become medium micro. Yes. So the brands can register for the exhibition, and we've got multiple media platforms that we work with. You can also Google. You'll see last year what was covered via ENCA and Newsroom and SABC, the Agenda, the mainstream media.
And we're also going to have a booth there.
Okay.
Definitely.
That's
There's a
so
media
exciting.
center.
Oh, yes. We're going to have a booth right there.
Okay. I like this already.
Yes. So go through to the webpage, embassiesbfc.com. Everything is on there. All the information you need and the registration is there. And also we've got our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn.
What are they?
It's Embassies Business Fair and Conference. If you Google that, you'll pick it up. We will be posting a lot and giving you updates.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Sure. I didn't know such a thing existed, but thank you so much for bringing it to our attention. And so it was so great to have you as our second guest on our first show. Thank you so much for gracing us with such an opportunity. And of course, we look forward to being at the fair ourselves, having a studio there and talking to a whole bunch of people.
Thank you so much. It will be really appreciated.
No, we appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks. It was great. It was fun because we had such fun in Zambia as well, because we were two South Africans visiting another country. So
Yeah.
it was great to share those experiences. And because we are beyond itineraries, next time you have to be with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you can't just not come. Uncle Zach.
No, definitely not. Not this time around. But my friend, it was great hosting our first show together. To many more. And thank you so much to our guests. Mr. Victor, thank you so much for your time.
Vincent.
Vincent.
So you have to get the name right.
We've got a
You
Victor
need to write it
inside
down.
there. Yeah.
Because you're getting old. The uncle explains it.
Come on now.
But next week we're going to be hosting Group 1.
Okay.
They're going to be talking about traveling by car
Oh, yes.
and holiday.
Okay.
We have a motoring journalist, Madeleine, who is a young white girl who travels by car. And Group 1 are going to launch they're launching their futon range. So we're talking about how do we travel through South Africa with padkos, with garages, with trucks on the road. I'm Geniene Preston.
Yeah.
And
I'm
you're Zach.
Uncle Zach. And of course, this has been
Beyond the Itinerary with Bogart Man Radio. Woohoo! I got that right.
No, not Bogart Man Radio, just Bogart Radio.
Bogart Radio. Oh, but
Yeah.
Bogart Man Radio has just got it's got a ring to it.
No, but we can't change it just because of you.
No, you can't. But you
Okay.
can make it Bogart Man Woman.
Okay. This has been a wonderful episode. Thank you very much for tuning in. And of course, if you're listening through our audio platforms, thank you very much. And of course, we are on YouTube and all other social media platforms. We appreciate you for watching and listening. And we'll be back again next week. Thank you very much, my friend.
Check you later.
Hey, ta-da.